In the Bible, there are pieces of information that are facts, but are not essential details. An example of this, in the Gospel of Mark and Luke, we have the story of Jairus, the ruler of the synagogue, whose daughter was dying. Jesus is going to Jairus' house when the woman with the hemorrhage touches the hem of his garment, is healed, and then when Jesus arrives at the house of Jairus, the girl has died, but Jesus raises her from the dead. That same account, however, in the Gospel of Matthew, does not include the name Jairus. It's a fact we may trust from the Gospel of Mark and Luke. But for Matthew, it was not an essential detail to a story of two miracles. And indeed, in none of the Gospels was the name of the woman with a hemorrhage an essential detail. In today's Gospel, however, there is a piece of information that at first glance doesn't seem to be significant, but it emerges as an essential detail, and therefore something we should reflect upon. We heard how a woman who had been oppressed by a spirit of infirmity for 18 years was at the synagogue. When Jesus saw her, he called her over and he healed her. She had been so infirm that she could not stand upright, but when Jesus laid hands on her, she was healed and able to stand upright. But when the people of the synagogue complained that Jesus should not heal on the Sabbath, Jesus said, "Should not this woman, this daughter of Abraham, who had been oppressed by Satan for 18 years, be healed on the Sabbath?" 18 years is a detail that Jesus tells us for a reason. Now, at first glance, everyone will recognize 18 years is how long it takes a person to fully mature physically. As a high school teacher, so many times I'm greeting students, and by the end of the year, they're taller than I am. But when they graduate and they come back to visit, they're the same people I saw when they were 18 years old. And so by focusing on this detail, Jesus wants us to remember this woman had this infirmity for the length of time it would take someone to be born, become fully mature, and perhaps be married with a child of their own. 18 years is a long time. 18 years is a lifetime of sorts. This woman, when she got that infirmity, certainly wanted to be healed. And as the years dragged on, she maybe started to lose hope that she would ever be healed. Indeed, she did not ask Jesus for a healing, as so many others do in the Gospels. It was Jesus who saw her and called her over. She had come to the synagogue that day simply because she goes to the synagogue. What Jesus is telling us by focusing on that essential detail, that she was infirm for 18 years, is that there is no infirmity so old that Jesus cannot heal it. But it goes beyond that. There is no hurt in our hearts so old and so ingrained that through Jesus we cannot find peace. And indeed, there is no sin so old that if we come to Jesus with a repentant heart, he will not freely forgive us. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Glory be to Jesus Christ.
Glory forever.